On a typical day, you might come across someone who seems unusually confident. They talk about their achievements, dominate conversations, and seem to believe they're just a little more important than everyone else. Maybe it's a classmate, a boss, or someone on social media who always seems to live a perfect life. It's tempting to label them with a single word: narcissist. But what does that actually mean? Is narcissism just arrogance? Or is it something deeper? Psychologists define narcissism as a personality trait characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a strong need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. But here's where it gets interesting. Narcissism isn't just one thing. It exists on a spectrum. At one end, there's healthy self-confidence. Researchers typically divide narcissism into two main types. First, there's grandiose narcissism. This is the version most people recognize. It's loud, charismatic, and often impressive at first. Grandiose narcissists tend to be confident, dominant, and attention-seeking. They often rise quickly in careers because they appear bold and capable. But over time, that confidence can turn into entitlement, and that charm into manipulation. Kind that helps you speak up, take risks, and pursue your goals. At the other end is something far more disruptive. Then there's vulnerable narcissism. This one is quieter and much harder to spot. Instead of overt confidence, it hides behind insecurity. These individuals may feel entitled to special treatment, but are extremely sensitive to criticism. A small comment can feel like a major attack. So while grandiose narcissists demand attention, vulnerable narcissists quietly crave it and feel deeply hurt when they don't receive it. And at the extreme end of the spectrum, there's a clinical condition called narcissistic personality disorder. This is where narcissistic traits take over a person's life, damaging relationships, careers, and emotional well-being. But here's the twist. Recent research suggests narcissism isn't fixed. Studies now show these traits often peak in young adulthood and gradually decline over time as people gain experience and empathy. In other words, the person who seems self-absorbed today might not stay that way forever. So what causes narcissism? The answer is complicated. Part of it is genetic, but environment plays a major role too. Children who are constantly praised and told they are superior may develop grandiose narcissism, while those raised in cold or overly critical environments may develop vulnerable narcissism, constantly seeking validation to fill that gap. And then there's modern life. Social media has created endless opportunities to present an idealized version of ourselves. In fact, more people today are openly talking about narcissistic traits online, trying to explain what it feels like from the inside, a constant balancing act between admiration and insecurity. But narcissism isn't entirely negative. In small doses, it can actually be useful. Confidence, assertiveness, ambition. These traits can help people succeed. The problem begins when self-focus replaces empathy and admiration becomes more important than connection. So, how do you tell the difference? Ask yourself this: does this person care about others? or only about how others see them. Because at its core, narcissism isn't really about loving yourself too much. It's often about struggling to feel secure without constant validation. And that leads to the most important question. Can narcissists change? The answer is yes, but it's not easy. Change requires something. Narcissism resists by nature. Honest self-reflection. It means accepting criticism, developing empathy, and learning to value others, not as mirrors, but as people. So, the next time you encounter someone who seems overly self-absorbed, remember, you might not just be looking at confidence gone too far. You might be seeing a complex personality trait, shaped by biology, experience, and environment. And like many things in psychology, it's not simply good or bad. It's human, and understanding it might be the first step to dealing with it, in others, and maybe even in ourselves.